Okay, this is going to be a quick overview of the training stations. We're going to work with two panels here. So we have training station number 1, training station number 2, and the remote display box in the middle. This is your remote game box or program selector box, okay? First thing we need to do is turn it on. On-off switch is on the right side if you're facing the box. This is for indoor switches, indoor systems. Turn it on, and you wait for it to say fun, fun, fun. Then you're ready to play. One thing to remember is if you turn it on and you touch the wall before it's ready, you will get an error message. See the E message up here. To fix that, you just turn the system on for a second, move everybody back so no one's touching the wall, turn it back on, then you have to wait until it reads fun, fun, fun before you can touch or play on the wall. That's simple. This is your remote control. This is a tool that you'll use to choose the games, level, time, volume for your system. You notice it has red, yellow, green, and blue buttons for game, level, time, and volume. If you look back here, on the remote game box you have the same thing, red, yellow, green, and blue. This is going to work exactly the same as your remote control when you have it set in instructor mode. There's two modes here, okay? You set this in instructor mode, and then these two are exactly the same. Remote controls, okay? We're going to work with that first. Here is a close-up of your remote game box. As you can see, you have two ways to switch the black switch. You can switch it to individual workout mode or to instructor mode. If you haven't set to instructor mode, it's going to work exactly the same as the remote control, the handheld one. That's the one we're going to keep it in right now, okay? The remote control is simple to use. Again, you can use either the remote game box or your handheld remote control. I'm going to use my handheld remote control. When I push the red button, I'm changing this first number here. So it says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, back to 0. So that's the game. If I want to go to game 3, I push it until it's to game 3. Then I go to the yellow button, which is level. I can go to different levels, level 1, 2, 3, or 4. I want to go to game 3, I let it sit for a second, then I go to the time button, which is green. Time will go all the way from 10 seconds up to 240 seconds. And back around. Everything in this remote control goes around and around. And while I'm in a game, I have to be in, not 0, but 1, 2, 3, and 4, and I press the volume button. I'm turning the speakers on the panels up and down. There's two sets of speakers. There's some speakers up top, which I'll show you later, and some speakers on the panels. If I'm in a game, 1, 2, 3, or 4, and I press the volume button, I'm turning the speakers on the panels up and down. That's the beeping noise. It can go louder or mute. So it goes around and around. Game, level, time, volume. Works the same on here. Red button, first number, yellow button, second number, green button, time. While I'm in a game, and I press the blue button, that's the volume on the panel speakers. Sportwall on the remote display box has a chip inside here that contains games. We can change those games by putting in new chips. The current selection right now has 4 games. 4 games. If I press the red button, I can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4. First game is Rallywall. Second game is Play the Tune. Third game is Chase the Target. Fourth game is Knock the Lights Out. First game and the easiest game is called Rallywall. That's game 1. I always start with game 1, 1. So I take my red button, go to game 1. I can choose the yellow button till I get to level 1. And we'll start with 20 seconds, okay? Game 1, 1. You can hit anywhere on the 4-foot by 8-foot panel. And you get 5 points, okay? You don't have to hit a target, but I always tell people to aim for the target anyways. The closer you hit to the target, the easier it is to get 5 points. So that's anywhere on the whole panel is 5 points. It's great for relays, for warm-up, something where you're not worried about hitting the target. When the time is up, you'll hear the charge tune, and the game will either start over or the score will stay up there depending on the setting, and we'll learn about that later. That's game 1-1, Rallywall. Staying with game 1, Rallywall, to show you what the different levels do. What we'll do now is take game 1. I'm going to take the yellow level button and move it up to game 1-3. We'll stay at 20 seconds. Now, what we've done is, game 1-1, you could have hit the whole panel for 5 points. Now, when you hit above this white line, anywhere, you still get 5 points. But watch what happens when you hit below the white line. -1, okay? So we've taken away this whole bottom part right here. This is good to throw bean bags, to have the kids practice a little bit about throwing above and below the line, things like that. Again, the charge tune sounds, that means the end of the game. Those are just 2 examples of game 1. It shows you a little bit of the difference in how Sportwall progresses as the levels get harder. Okay, the next game is game 2. Game 1 was Rallywall, game 2 is Play the Tune. I'm going to put my remote in my pocket right now, and I'm going to use this box right here. So I'm going to hit the red button until we get to game 2, and I'm going to go straight to game 2-3. That's my favorite, okay? We'll put it on 30 seconds. Game 2 is called Play the Tune. Take me out to the ballpark, plays, and the targets move in a figure 8 or an infinity figure, okay? The key to game 2 is you want the kids to concentrate on rhythm, listening, and patience, coordination. So if you try to hit the target too fast, it won't work. So this slows the kids down. This is great for a cool-down game. They could either use a noodle, they could use their hands and feet, they could use a ball. Let's reset that. One more thing about game 2. If you do miss and you do not hit the correct target, you do get penalized. And the tune will start over. So there is a penalty on game 2. That's called game 2-3. That's Play the Tune, and the single target goes around in a figure 8. Okay, so far we've had game 1, Rallywall. We did game 1-1 and 1-3. We saw the difference between above and below the line. We went on to game 2, which was Play the Tune. We played one of those games, game 2-3, where it went around in a figure 8. You had to slow down and concentrate, and also you were penalized if you did not hit the correct spot.